It was the summer of 1939 when Freud was frail and suffering intense pain from terminal inoperable mouth cancer. On September 21, 1939, Freud grasped the hand of his friend and doctor, Max, and reminded him of his earlier pledge not to torment me unnecessarily. He added, "No, it's nothing but torture and makes no sense." After receiving the permission of Freud's daughter, Anna injected the first of 3 heavy morphine doses. Freud slipped into a coma and never awoke. Freud became addicted to tobacco after lighting up his first cigarettes in his 20s. He often smoked more than 20 of them a day. In spite of the warning from doctors about his chain smoking, Freud believed the habit enhanced his productivity and creativity. After the discovery of a cancerous tumor inside Freud's mouth in 1923, doctors removed a large part of his jaw. Although he underwent 33 additional surgeries over the next 16 years and had a large prosthesis inserted to separate his sinus and jaw, Freud never quit smoking. In the 1880s, Freud grew interested in a little-known legal drug being used by a German military doctor to give a new vigor exhausted troops, cocaine. Freud experimented with the drug and found his digestion and spirits improved after drinking water laced with dissolved cocaine. He distributed doses to his friends and future wife also. He himself found relief from bouts of sadness while on the drug and also appreciated its ability to provoke extended monologues about things normally tucked away in the recesses of his brain. He wrote 4 papers celebrating the drug's effects and even used it on some of his patients. He quit the drug later in life, calling it a distraction. The book Freud considered his most significant work produced little fanfare when it was published in 1899. Only 351 copies of the interpretation of dreams were sold in its first 6 years, and a second edition was not published until 1909. Fortunately, the book later gained significant popularity and had 7 more editions in Freud's lifetime. Freud was using animal companions to soothe anxious patients long before it was common. He sometimes allowed his chow chow, Joffy, to sit in with his patients during appointment and noticed that they became measurably more relaxed. When the idea of therapy dogs was explored further in the 1960s, researchers drew support from Freud's writing about Joffy to help establish credibility for the approach.